All right. Hey guys, back with episode 3 commentary. Um, Thanks for watching this stuff so far. It's been a lot of fun. Um, hmm. I guess we should just start doing it. Why not, right? Just to explain what I'm gonna do. I have VRV up on my Safari. I'm gonna hit the space bar to start the video that I've been buffering a little bit. Excuse me. And I coughed right into the mic. And I'll hit the start button on this clock. That way, you'll have a vague connected connection to the time code, and then I'll give the commentary hopefully at the same time. I'm in Dan's old office right now at Starburns. On behind me is a project that I'm pretty sure is dead, so don't try. It's not Community. It's not Rick and Morty. It's a. It was gonna be a TV pilot that he was helping someone work on, but now it's not. So no use trying to analyze, figuring out what it's about. I can read the background. It looks like it has to do with a boyfriend. Um, yeah, looks about right. Anyway, this episode we had Tawny Newsome. She was really great. She was one of I mean, I don't know. We had so many great guests, but she was definitely one of my favorite guests we pulled to get her. Um, it was a good episode. She really knew what she was doing, which, I think she talks about she's never done it before. Or she did it in high school, maybe? Anyway, we'll get there. Anyway, thrilled. What an episode. Let's start playing it. I'm about to boop, 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 boop. So we got the recap cut with Regan. Shepherd of the Beast of Beginning. Clarence, see, look at that. How do you like that recap technology? Connecting the dots on Clarence. We come back to that moment many times in these recaps. Pudding pops in the background. I didn't comment on those too much, but last episode there was some pudding pops. Classic. Classic recap. So yeah, as I was saying, last episode, we were trying to introduce a character, and it went off the rails, and so we didn't do that. Um, I just saw a background character there. It's pretty silly. Um, anyway, didn't work in the second episode, so this episode I had to scramble to introduce the protagonist, or the not the protagonist, the character. I want to call him a protagonist. Um, but yeah, I think it worked possibly better. I don't know about better. It definitely worked okay. Oh, I'm getting a text. I think I mentioned this before, but I wanted to write these intros, like just these ones, the ones that already happened, like just Dan saying "Welcome to Harmonquest," but I didn't. I tried and failed. Turns out writing's hard, you guys. Everything you write sounds stupid. Um, I think she said something there. It might have been "I love you." I wish I could go back. That would throw off the time code. The all important time code. each actor has an eyeline camera for their introductions, and when you do the intros, you're supposed to like take it to the eyeline camera, so you're like looking into the screen like that, you know. Um, hey guys, it's me on the show. You know. Um, yeah, so she used to play. She doesn't remember how. Hmm. I wonder how high my audio levels are. They were bad last episode. I'll try to fix them up a little bit, but who knows? That's also why I'm recording in this office. It might have better acoustics. I mean, who knows? I hope they can't hear my headphones. That would be confusing and bad. So Ivory Key's the name of the place where the Bone Tree barbarians live. Key is spelled Quuay, which is a weird thing for people who live in America, which is all of our legal audience, I guess. Yeah, so this episode's also kind of saturated, so Boneweevil looks green. Look at Boneweevil's color. In episode 9, he doesn't look that color. It'll be interesting. I think I mentioned this before, but it's a bummer. Yeah, so that's his deal is he came back to life. He's ashamed of coming back to life because it's like he gloriously died in combat or whatever the fuck. And then when he came back, there's all these blood barbarians. Nah, what were they called? Blood priests? Blood priests. And he's like, this isn't the barbarian way. We're not using magic to bring people back to life. It gets in the way of our ancestor worship. And so that's part of what's driving him is he's like, the barbarians have strayed from their path of true strength. We gotta make things right. Dan does it. That took a lot of work to get right. It's still not perfect, maybe, but it's pretty solid. I didn't know why she wanted to punch her friend, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. It was just, I don't know. I didn't get it at the time. She says she'll never tell and then immediately writes it down. But what if the diary gets into the wrong hands? We actually had to turn down the saturation a bit in this episode because Tawny's character just looked red. Red hair, red shirt, red pants, red bra, red everything. It was just too bright. Right, so Donna's one of their old friends from the old times before everything went bad. Exposition. In her outline, this is kind of what she was supposed to be saying. That's like, oh, shit's been going bad. And I don't like it. And that's why I'm here with you. Dan's lines look a little thin here, huh? I think I like Bone Weevil and makeup a little bit better in the storyboards. They look kind of, I don't know, they look kind of clownish. I mean, they still look kind of clownish, but they look more silly before, I think. Storyboards are great. So she made the name of that place up, but it carries through the whole season. So in Barbarian Society, there's like different, or in this one at least, there's like different fields of magic that are accepted. There's the bone shamans, and then there's the blood priests, which are a newer branch. And then Dan and Donna both belong to like what do you maybe call the special ops, like the Navy SEALs or something of Barbarian. Dan's a chain weaver, and Donna's a shadow weaver, and both of them use Barbarian approved forms of magic that aren't seen as like cowardice or whatever. And that's kind of like how magic manifests in Barbarian Society. There's those 3 or 4 kind of branches. See, that's that character that was supposed to be in episode 2. So yeah, that gong sound is like the alarm activating. That's a good effect. It took a lot of work. But so yeah, in episode 2, they're supposed to be being chased by bugs early on in the episode. And then that gray guy was supposed to show up and chase them even more. And then when they got into the trance helm, he was supposed to like attack them within the safety of the trance helm. It was supposed to be all like scary. Such a that boink sound effect. See the gong still ringing. That took a lot of retakes to get right because it's in a lot of shots. Um, but yeah, it ended up didn't working out because of the weird timing issues that happened in episode 2. But in in this version of the story, it was that character who signals the alarm. Combo moves are a thing this season. I don't know how many there are, but it was fun to do combo moves. In my real life, we had these things called bros moves, which are from like the Mario Superstar Saga RPG games. But me and my real friends would do them where like if we were out hiking, we'd like jump up a hill, and then we'd like pull up the other person. It was like it would be like bros move. So that's what combo moves are inspired by. He probably could have just climbed up normal style, but you know, why not? It sacrificed his invisible to do that too. That guy. So a lot of the backgrounds, not all of them, but a lot of them are like this guy are staff who worked on the show. I want to say no, I don't think this is Nike. I can't remember who's who is the thing. That's in the trailer, that bit. That's just really is the quintessential look at this party. If you can't help us, why would I send you out of prison? Yeah, those two on the side are that's like a storyboard artist and a background artist. So even though they're kind of in the middle of all the shit, they haven't really been noticed somehow, which I think in the original version they were invisible. Not Bone Weevil, but the rest of them were invisible. But we cut that out for time, and it wasn't super necessary to have them invisible, so I think it works okay. I love Aaron's reaction because it's so appropriate. This took a lot of storyboarding. It took a lot of I don't know. It made sense to me, but it was hard to explain. That's Rosie. She's our post PA. Yeah, and when they said they stroll unbothered, they were invisible at the time. So really, they were strolling by unbothered. Because no one can see them because they're invisible. But in this version, they aren't. But that's fine. I think it still works okay. Fancy Treasure Island. Originally, there was supposed to be... Oh, I'll get to that. Blood Priest. That guy with the mask used to be a guy without a mask, but there's continuity issues because his character was here and then it walked around from there. And so we put a mask on that one to fix the continuity so it looked like a different guy. He also had a front butt, I think. Like his legs were on backwards, so he had like a butt in his crotch. It was weird, but we fixed it. So this part also originally happened invisible, and she pretended to be like a ghost. She rolled really high on her blood check. But yeah, I don't know if she was a ghost, but she was like, I'm just invisible. I'm like an invisible barbarian being tricked. That's why he looks around and says, what? Because she's invisible. See, she's being low key. That's why she's invisible. Or that's because she's invisible. So originally they were supposed to find this key in an armory with some armor and some treasure because treasure season. But they ended up just trying to get it from a blood priest, and I was like, yeah, maybe he'd have it. So we just went in that direction instead. That also happened invisible. She did that all invisible. But yeah, we cut it to invisible. Dan's still gone. Oh, I missed when like, well, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, when Bone Evil like pops out above the fancy treasure land, I like that. We add that later. So originally, this gemstone was supposed to be in the armory, and then the gemstone would ambush them, and then Blood Priest would show up to attack them. But because they didn't go into the armory, I had the gemstone come find Dan. Yeah, so part of Dan's character is he has two weapon fighting instead of some of his more sneaky rogue things because I wanted Dan or Jeff to be the more sneaky, the more assassiny kind of rogue, and so I kind of made his rogue have some magic and some ranger traits instead to kind of differentiate the two, so they weren't overlapping in their character arcs. Yeah, so that gemstone heals stuff and can animate stuff, so it animates those bones. This is why you don't split the party because people are just doing improv while you're getting murdered. This is one of my favorite gigs or bits. Who am I? I can't remember what that ancient tome had in it, but it was really. Oh, I think it was a magical blood book that would teach you blood magic, kind of like a reference to Harmontown with Yurch. Aaron's so great this season. Um, Donna or Tawny says Kragor, a reference to when she mentioned Krager before when we're talking about crazy exes, but it gets drowned out, but it's good. We actually cut this moment out, but then the network wanted us to put it back in because this axe doesn't really come back. I think it comes back one time, but it's not super crazy. I mean, it's fine, but we cut that out and cut it back in. It's supposed to be like an artifact that the barbarian tribe. It's like a symbol of the chief's power. There's a theme of Bone Weevil trying to do stuff and not being strong enough in a couple parts of this series. Love that match cut. This is the second time he's cast Flesh at Rain. What do you think of this spell, huh? I think it looks cool. I think it maybe could look a little bit cooler, but it's pretty great. The sound sounds kind of weird. There's some phasing. I wonder what the deal with that is. That's the green stone. The sound effect of the green stone is apparently like from an old Atari game or something. I don't know. Yeah, so it healed him. So a plot line that was completely abandoned was not a plot line, like a plot detail, was that this is the beast of beginning. It's kind of like this crazy creature, and so to eat in the dead wasteland. See, that's foreshadowing. Um, but to feed themselves in the apocalypse, they cut pieces off of this the beast of beginning to eat, and then it grows them back. Kind of like that pig in the Garden of Eden in that episode of Simpsons. Um, but they didn't want people to know that was the deal. So they said they were eating demon flesh, but it's not demon flesh. It's actually beast of beginning flesh. Whole thing, I think, vanished, but it's all cool. That joke, we rolled over that joke, but I met a gemstone in the woods is so great. It's that same guy. He's doing the same thing. I don't like the timing of this one anywhere near as much as the one in the first episode or the first sequence of the show. The effect doesn't look quite as good anyway. See, he came in invisible. That's why you heard those footsteps. He's got these crazy disintegration abilities. So Michael Waldron inspired Vortheon in the first season. It was kind of his idea to have a Vortheon character that wasn't the cult but was kind of working with the cult. And this character was kind of an attempt to have that sort of energy in this series where it's like they're already doing a thing, but then there's this guy also. That's Dominic, our animation director, in that painting, but we didn't realize that until later. Yeah, so she's a shadow weaver. Shadow weaver powers. There's a lot of weird comedy things that seem a little, I don't know, like they break continuity of the world, but they're pretty silly. Like that spell. I mean, it works. That's a weird cut, but whatever. This is also, just a bit comedic. It's cool though. Originally, it was just supposed to be like a single tentacle that's just like whoop and it grabs them, but whatever. Originally, that attack was supposed to be like a solar flare, like from Dragon Ball Z, where he just blasts out energy in all directions. But I didn't really pay attention until it was too late to change the effect, so they just used that cone effect again. It doesn't make as much sense that he disperses the shadow lash with that spell because he's not like aiming at it. But whatever. This is the bone wand from episode 1 that Bone Weevil found. I forgot what kind of wand it was. I think originally it was a wand of vampiric touch, but it just became. That sound mix is weird, huh? It's too loud sound effects. Yeah, but since I forgot, I was like, I guess it just shoots lightning of some sort. So yeah, there's a lot of attacks cut out that they didn't know if they hit or not because the guy was invisible for a big chunk of time, and so that's what Tawny was reacting to. Is like we're just never gonna find out whether or not we hit the guy or not. And so I finally just reported the damage because, to make him feel better. So part of the reason behind the Goblin Fray was to give Jeff something to do and some like a prop to play with the same way he plays with his boosts. What weird fucking sound effects. So strange. Anyway, um, so it was also supposed to be like a plot device where I can make them do the things they're supposed to do. So that's why he wanted to punch the guy, but it took him on top of the beast of beginning. Yeah, so the beast of beginning can only be activated by the hearts of the pure, which Bone Weevil apparently is. This effect, the beginning of it's kind of strange. This part is weird. The idea is like they're going back in time and then they like crashed or something. Something fucked up. See, you see, like it's like a tattoo that disappears on Bone Weevil's arms when I say it disappears under your skin. But the idea isn't like it goes into the skin. The idea is they're on it and then like they're writing on it. It's on the other side of their skin because they're touching it, and then it fades out of existence, and so it's gone. But I didn't realize that was what they were going for. Was that it like literally kind of disappears under the skin? But I don't know. It still mostly tracks. It's like, oh yeah, the guy freaks out, the beast freaks out and disappears. But it's just a bit funky. Um, but yeah, Tawny was so great. Sometimes you got to cut out a lot of crazy awesome stuff that the guest does just to make room for plot, and that always feels like a bummer. This episode was like that, where she was just so good. um I mean, I think all of the guests this season were really good. Man, can't wait till you see Tom Kenny. So yeah, who knows where Donna went? Back in time, maybe. I always wanted to do like a revenge of a past guest who's like, you guys messed me up and left me for dead, and now I'm back and I'm gonna blow you up or whatever. But that hasn't manifested so far. Okay, I guess that about does it. Thanks for watching. Uh, I still hope you're enjoying this. I hope the sound is a little better. I think it's at least a little bit better. Anyway, I guess I hope it's better. Who knows? Jesus Christ. More things to be anxious about. Don't have enough. Um, Follow me on Twitter. Like and subscribe.